SMM OG Powell is preaching unity. That's right. I had someone send me this message here today. I'm going to share it with you all. Hopefully it helps someone and saves someone's life. It says, no more separation. We back together as one family, like we supposed to be. It's time to weed out who have the hidden agendas, because every voice that matters is on the same page, pushing this unity. So get ready, church. No 45, no G20, only S double. We stronger together, free to flush. Now, the person who sent me this, they sent it to me for my reaction to it. And I'm going to give you my reaction. I 100% agree with Powell in the unity. I believe that there is strength in numbers and that there is power in unity. And I am no longer referring to that unity from a criminal aspect. Don't allow my words to be misconstrued. I'm saying from a perspective of political agenda, as we're older, and now we know what type of things we want in and out of our community, and we're ready to learn how to go about it together, unified, the right way. I'm talking about from a business perspective because we understand the power in group economics. So yes, indeed, my brother, I 100% agree in the unity. But I wouldn't be me if I wasn't 100% honest. Like they always say, a hit dog will holler. Well, guess who the hit dog is, y'all? That guy right there. Me. And I'm going to tell you why I'm the hit dog. It's because certain things that I have said in the past on this very platform may have given you the idea that I was for or pro-separation. You know, that I was speaking from a separated agenda perspective, right? I take full ownership of that. And being that I made those statements on this public platform, I'm going to clarify those statements and where they come from on this public platform. And if you feel me, you feel me, and if you don't, you don't. But it is what it is. I'm going to put it out there. All right? We're going to go back in time, y'all. I'm going to take you back because this is about a mindset. This is about a mentality. This ain't about a statement. And I'm going to tell you where this mindset and this mentality derives from. This is the winter of 1990 going into 1991. Yeah, that winter of 1990-91. If you know the history of SMM, an organization of which I spent a great part of my youth in, you know, and I let it be known that I'm from there. You know, I've since grown, I've elevated. I'm in my 50s, but I'm from that environment, which qualifies me to speak to that environment. Now, like I said, if you know anything about the history of SMM, at one point in time, Soundview Projects and Castle Hill Projects, which the unification of those two projects is really the birth of SMM, they were not always on the best of terms. They were not always the best of friends. I'm not going to say that there was all-out warfare, and not least during my era or my generation, there was not all-out warfare, but there was a time when they were not the best of friends. All right? Now, this winter of 90 going into 91, Pistol Pete, Peter Rolock, suggested that he and I go to play in a basketball tournament in Castle Hill Projects, excuse me. Pete suggested that he and I go and play in a basketball tournament in Castle Hill Projects in the winter of 90 going into 91. No one else from the projects wanted to go and play in this tournament. Before we went there, Pete told me face to face in his house that he wanted me to go to this tournament and play with him for the purpose of not to just play basketball with him, but to watch his back. Because at that point in time, he had a bone to pick with someone in Castle Hill, and he didn't know what that person's temperature necessarily was towards him. So he told me, Mo, I want you to come play with me in this tournament. I need somebody to come watch my back. Bring your tool and come play with me in this tournament. Reason being, at that time, he only had his 30-30 rifle. He no longer had the 32. Okay? This is after the Trace Buddha, who passed away from Stevenson Commons. This was after they tried to pop shot at him in front of his building and whatnot. So all he had was the rifle at the time. He didn't have a pistol. He asked me to go play in a tournament with him. This is on the heels of the summer prior to that. He saved my life in a situation where someone had drawn down on me and had me dead to rights. And he sparked them and saved me. So him asking me to walk with him in that tournament to hold him down and watch him back with my tool, I don't care if it would have been in Edenwald projects, I would have walked with him. I had his back. All right? Now, during the time of that tournament, that's when I got cool with everybody from the Hill. From Beam to the Twins to Hot Boy to Nitty, Kevmo, everybody from the Hill was there. I remember it was the yellow jerseys with the black was our team had, and their team had the black jerseys with the yellow. This is 1991. This is before we was even saying SWM. I'm just talking about that bond and that brotherhood with Pete and the Castle Hill boys. He knew most of them boys from Stevenson already, but it was still a Soundview and Castle Hill thing. And I was the only person from the Soundview side that went with Pete to Castle Hill to play in this tournament with the purpose of watching his back. I'm going to fast forward up a little something. See, Pete had a lot of friends. He had friends that he dealt with in the street and did business with. He had friends that would move with him when it was beef and so on and so forth. But not all of his friends were welcome into his home. Not all of his friends hung out in his house. There's a lot of very prominent names in the organization that never ever hung out in Pete's house on a daily basis. I did. And another person who was there was the person who helped Pete and his mama move in his house. Is a brother by the name of Warren Moe. That's my big bro. He been there from day one with us, right? From the time he helped Pete and his mom moved out of his apartment, Warren was there damn near every day. Brotherhood, bonded, formed, you know? So now, here we go. I can speak on this because she said it publicly in Don Diva magazine. Pete's mom did not like all of his friends. Like she said, she didn't necessarily like Twin. Twin is not the only person she wasn't necessarily feeling. Let's be real. Whenever Warren was in Soundview with Pete, Warren would tell you why he was there. He was holding Pete down. That's it. Warren didn't hustle in Soundview projects. If you seen Warren on the block, he looked like he chilling and hanging out with everybody else. Warren is not from the projects. Warren would tell you what he was doing. Holding Pete down in Soundview. In his mind. That's his mentality. That's his mind state when he's on the block. He loved Pete. He fucked with everybody else and he grew to love everybody else in time. But at that point in time, Warren rocked with Pete. You understand what I'm saying? So let's go up a little further. Today was a point in time where Pete stopped being with me every day. He might have stopped being with Warren so much every day. This is when that era you hear Pete more with Twin and Yarrow. What you don't realize or you don't know from the outside looking in is people like me and Warren, you might call hating or whatever, is looking at that situation different. One, I'm not trusting Yarrow. I'm not liking Yarrow. I don't know Yarrow. I never met Yarrow. Why I didn't like Yarrow, I paged Pete several times when he was with Yarrow and he didn't hit me back 2 days later. I got in my feelings. Call it what you want. But that's why I just had a funny vibe about Yarrow ever since then. I didn't like Yarrow. Warren don't like nobody. Let's be real. Outside of Shotty, me, maybe one or two other people, Warren don't like nobody. He's watching everybody that's around Mo for betrayal. All right, I want to scream this Pete stuff. I'm giving you the real. All right. When this blood thing situation started, when Pete came home for that little bit of time in '96, I had just got back to the hood. I was on a run in Pennsylvania. I came back to the block. I got locked up that day, July 2nd, '96. Because as soon as I came back to the hood, I wasn't even supposed to go outside because I knew I had police looking for me in the hood. So I talked to Mookie on the phone and he tell me, Pete's looking for you. Pete's home. That's the only reason I went to the block. When I went to the block, they told me Pete had rode up to the hill on a pedal bike to go talk to Twin. Before he could get back, the DTs rolled up on Cozy Corner and locked me up. July 2nd, '96, the day Nas dropped, it was fucking written. I got locked up. So I'm on Rikers. I don't know anything about a blood set at this time. He didn't get a chance to tell me. The police grabbed me before I knew about this. I don't know about the blood. So I'm on Rikers Island. I don't know that Sex, Money, Murder, which is the gang I'm running around saying I'm a part of on the street, is blood now. I don't know that. You feel me? So now, I get out of Rikers Island, I get back on my 1-2s, start going out of town. I'm in Virginia, getting bread. Only reason I come back to the block is to re-up because I don't know what spot is the right spot to go to downtown at this time. Pete's locked up already. I can't get no work from him. So when I come back to the block, that's when B-Love and these niggas telling me about the blood thing. You understand what I'm saying? Now this is my position. I had a personal relationship with Pete. I never allowed or had to accept anybody giving me any secondhand information from Pete. I never had a big homie or took orders in the original Sex, Money, Murder. I didn't work for anybody. Nobody had ever beat me up or anything like that. It was like everybody was bros to me. We was all bros. I never had a big homie. Even Pete wasn't a big homie. It was just a love and respect I had for him for the position he played, the things he did. Like I said, as far as holding me down to the point of saving my life, basically, to with me being fucked up and on my dick, yo, Mo, I'm fucked up, I need some work. And I might already owe this nigga money. He ain't gonna let me walk around hungry. Here, Mo. That's why I talk about him the way I do. That's why I respect and love him the way I do. It's because of the shit he did for me personally. You understand what I'm saying? So once the whole blood thing started, I initially was turned off by it. Why? Because like I said, I knew Pete too well. I spent too much one-on-one time with Pete. And like I said in another video before, I came in a Yala store and there was several niggas in there I seen with red flags on that I heard Pete say out his mouth, he pussy. I knew how he liked to talk about people. If you know, you know. I got people who spent more time with him than anybody on the streets could tell you I'm not lying, Mo. I'm not lying, right? So that made me feel funny towards it, or back. I'm like, you wasn't on no Sex, Money, Murder tip, riding around with Pete. You with the shits when it's beef. You taking work and making it do it. None of that. You wasn't with that. So that's how I felt. I was running out of town getting money. Not involving nobody in what the fuck I was doing. You don't know what the fuck I was doing out of town. Ace will tell you what type of shit I was doing out of town. I didn't necessarily come back to the block and tell everybody what the fuck I did. That was one of the smartest things I ever did. I didn't know people was gonna run around singing and get everybody locked up. All y'all know is I was gone. That's it. That's all the fuck you need to know. But back to what I was saying. Now, as far as me saying I never worked for nobody, let me be clear on that. When I went to Kingston with Beam and Marty Skull, I went up there with Dust. I didn't take no krills with me. When we got up there, everybody was acting like they didn't want to smoke no dust, so my dust wasn't moving, and I wanted to make some money, so I took some work from them niggas. But other than that, I ain't never I ain't never worked for nobody or needed nobody for work or none of that shit, bro. I did everything I did, me, bro. So I never had a big homie or nobody who would be able to talk to me and get a certain response out of me outside of Pete, and that's because of the relationship me and Pete had. I mean, if you understand, you understand. If you don't, you don't. So when it comes to the people that he brought home on the blood thing, on Rikers Island, it's certain ones of us who was already in the mindset of here go Pete with these new niggas again. And it's not out of hatred, it's not out of disrespect or doubting any of y'all, man. As far as Jungle, who I never knew, may he rest in peace. As far as Powell, just another big name I've heard. I don't know him. X, I don't know X. So I don't have nothing to say about them, good, bad, or indifferent, besides I don't know them. Would I like to meet them and get to know them? Unfortunately, I can't with Jungle, but the rest of them, sure, absolutely. But until I know them, I have no opinion on them. I have no opinion on them. So having had no opinion on them, whenever I would encounter situations, where I go places and I encounter individuals when I was still gangbanging, or this when I was still gangbanging, and I would encounter individuals who would try to exercise some form of authority on me. I'm like, who, nigga, I don't know you. Who the hell are you? I never heard of you. And they're talking about SMM. Now, I've been talking about SMM since 1992. How do you think that's supposed to sound to me? I don't know you. And then like they're under this guy, who's under this guy, who's under this guy, who's under this guy, who's under Powell or under Jungle or anybody, you know, who's a prominent figure in what people consider the G20. How am I supposed to respond to that? I don't know you. I don't know you. Does it mean that I will never embrace you? Or if Pete was home, in a perfect world, Pete would be home. If he brought you around and everybody is still around and he brought you, yo, this is my man such and such, this is my man such and such, and all right, I kick it with you. Yeah, I'm watching everything at first. But after a while, you done been around with niggas, you broke bread with niggas, you done showed up and, yeah, once we brothers, bro. But I'm not the type of nigga who would sit around and say, yo, I pledge my allegiance to this nigga I never met in my life. I'm gonna ride or die for this nigga I never met in my life. I'm about to do this, that, and third for this nigga I never met in my life. When I'm in a gangbanging mentality, from that aspect, nah, that's soft to me. That's soft to me. My thing was I ride for my side. I ride for my side. I don't know you. Until I know you, I don't know you. You know what I mean? And to a lot of people, that comes across as separation. I'm not saying whether it is or it's not. What I'm saying is that's not the intention. It's not the intention. It's what gets that negative reaction is, like I said, it's that authoritative aspect. You know, whenever I would have people come at me with some type of authoritative aspect, I'm the high old this and this or that, and I'm like, all right, what the fuck that got to do with me? You understand what I'm saying? Oh, if you're here, you got to get in line with this and get in line with this. Nigga, bro, like you want me to send you somewhere, man? Wrap the fuck up. Like don't play. You don't know who I am, bro. You don't know who I am. I never heard of you. That's not my fucking fault. That's not my fault. But like, what's my position supposed to be? If all along, from before this started, before it was even an SMM, my job was to watch Pete back, man. And he watched mine. That's what he been doing. So I go over and beyond to try to pay it back. That's what type of shit I was on, bro. So like even Pete's mans who he brought home in jail, Pete had niggas behind him to watch y'all and make sure y'all was right with him. Y'all was right for us. Why? Just because Pete Man screwed him over before. Pike was Pete Man. B Love was Pete Man. Yarrow was Pete Man. Niggas that Pete said was his man fucked him over. Niggas that Pete said was his man told on him. Certain niggas, it was people in his ear the whole time like, we had that open relationship. He talked to me like a dog, bro. Anybody know he'd cuss me the fuck out like a dog, so I'm gonna give it back to him the same goddamn way. So he might tell you, I gave such. You's a dumb motherfucker. If you had that much fucking money to give a fucking away, you could have just gave that shit to me. Like, shit like that, bro. Like, certain people, like, if I'm not jacking that nigga or I feel like that nigga, I'll let him know. I'll let him know. And sometimes I'll be right. Sometimes I'll be right. Does that mean anything wrong with anybody who's from that G20 thing? No. Nah, it don't mean nothing wrong with them. It don't mean nothing wrong with them at all. It don't mean they ain't the most honorable, real right niggas walking. It don't mean that. I don't know you. I'm not a dick rider. I don't know you. I understand you held it down. You put in work. You did this, that, and third. That's cool. Nigga, I did some things. So I mean, so okay, that's what's up. That was my man. Like, what's up? But I'm not looking up at nothing, at nobody. How the fuck I'm looking up at somebody? How? Peter look at me like I'm a fucking sucker if I look up at any of them fucking niggas. Yeah. Because just like anytime I did some dumb shit and he might have talked shit about me to anybody, which he's subject to do, everybody else with a big ass goddamn name who whenever he felt like they did some dumb shit and he called them all type of bozos and goddamn clowns, he said it to me. He said it to me. Certain words would never come out of my mouth when he vented to me. About certain homies, about brothers, he vented to me. I'll never speak on that. So if he vented to anybody about me, it is what it is. I can eat that. I don't change. But it's like, until I've crossed paths with an individual, shook a man's hand, looked him in his eye, felt his heartbeat. What could I say about you besides, I don't know you? You understand? Even though, you know, I'm out the crime life, out the street life, some of these guys I've heard good things about. I would like to meet one day. I would like to shake hands, kick it, have a conversation. And let niggas know, nah, I don't have no bad feelings towards none of y'all. There's no hatred towards none of y'all. No animosity, no jealousy, no none of that. No, just, I don't know you. Like, what kind of guy would I be? Let some guy I never met in my life tell me anything. Like, look at how you look at yourself. I look at myself a certain kind of way. Now, I hope that clears the air on any position that anybody may feel that I had when it comes to the separation thing. Because I am all for unity. I am all for unity. If I had to pick and choose between, you know, peace and war, I'm gonna choose peace, brother. I'm gonna choose peace with an understanding. That's all. It's like the old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. You understand what I'm saying? Can't teach an old dog new tricks. I said, man, one thing about me, I've always had my own mind. And shout out to my brother, he gonna know what I'm talking about. He see this, I love him, man. I wish him success on his journey on here, man. You know, but he got on me not too long ago about something, man. I stated my opinion about something. You feel what I'm saying? And my opinion doesn't necessarily agree with his opinion, you know, but that's one thing about me, I always have my own mind, you know, and Pete know that about me. I'm gonna give you a story example of one time, man. Pete trusted me to do something, and I did something different. You know, The twin that's surviving is up here. He might remember this, man. I'm talking over 30 years ago, man. You know, so I don't know, we'll see. But I know he was actually home this day because I can remember it clearly. Pete asked me to jump in the cab from Boynton and go to Castle Hill and pick up a street sweeper from Twin, right? I said, all right. He was busy doing what he was doing, whatever, asking me to go grab it. I told him I would do it. So I jump in the cab on Boynton and I go to Twin's building. Only thing is the cab went around the park and went up Lafayette. No, it didn't go up Lafayette. The cab went up Seaward. It went down Metcalf and up Seaward, right? So when the cab was going up Seaward, it went behind the Commons. And who do I see behind the Commons? With a Spanish dude fixing on his dirt bike. Eddie Ed. I saw Eddie Ed. Now it was a couple of days before that, Eddie Ed came on the block with some nickels. And the nickels was so damn big, he had to stole the dope because the nickels was bigger than the cocaine cost. They was big ass goddamn nickels, like he was trying to cut throat and stop our show. And at this time, that's when, you know, I'm holding the block down. But what a lot of people outside the circle didn't know was I was handicapped at the time. I was really handicapped. I just got shot 4 times, twice in the stomach, once in the chest, once in the right arm. They had to do to take out my kidney, do reconstructive surgery on my liver. You know, they had to take a vein out my leg. Hold on, watch this. You see this cut right there? You see that cut? It go all the way up to right there. They'll take a vein out my leg, put it in my arm. Took out one of my kidneys, did reconstructive surgery on my liver. My lungs had collapsed. So I was fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I went in the hospital like 220, 225, something like that. I came out the hospital 155 pounds. You know, I was looking bad. So when a nigga Eddie Ed comes on the block with the nickels, I couldn't beat him up. And I was tight, and I didn't have a hammer on me. Because what happened a few days before that infamous argument that me and P had over the hammer that Mookie lost. So boom, I ain't have no hammer on me. I'm drawed up like a damn raisin. I can't fight. And this nigga Eddie Ed came on the block with these big ass nickels running down on fiends. So I'm tight because niggas told Pete about it. And I was mad because I didn't do nothing about it, and I didn't do nothing about it because I couldn't do nothing about it. So that shit had been burning me up for a couple of days. So today, he told me to go get the goddamn street sweeper from Twin. When the cab rolled past Seaward, I seen Eddie Ed. I thought that was like a sign. You know what I'm saying? Like a sign from God. Like, like, okay, boom, all right. I can go get the street sweeper, come back, kill Eddie Ed, and get back to Morehouse real quick, right? So boom, I grabbed the street sweeper. Instead of getting in the cab and come back, I walked back from Castle Hill all the way to the projects with a fucking street sweeper, looking for Eddie Ed behind the Commons, and by the time I got back there, his ass was gone. He wasn't even there. So I ended up walking all the way back. You know, it took me goddamn a half hour, 45 minutes to walk from all the way, Twin of them live all the way in the back, far back of Castle Hill projects, to walk all the way to Pete Building in Boynton. It took me about 45 minutes. So the time I got back, Mo was livid. I guess he had something he was supposed to have been planning to do, and he thought I was gonna whip right back in the cab, but I walked back. So the nigga mad at me, we had an argument. I was in the wrong. Even though I was wrong, I was right, because I could have been right. If I would have got Eddie Ed that night, I was right. Because what happened a year change later, Eddie ended up shooting Pete off a goddamn bike. If Pete didn't have on a goddamn vest, won't be no Pete. Would have never been no SMN blood set. So see, even though I was wrong, I was right because I could have been right. So that's what I'm trying to say. I don't listen, but I don't listen for a good reason. For a real good reason. Anytime I don't listen, because I had a positive thought. My thing is, like, if you don't know me, how could you understand me? The only reason he got unmad at me, because he knew me and he understood me. What could I expect from somebody who doesn't know me and doesn't understand me? What could they expect from me? That's all. Love is love, man. Love is love. Ain't no hatred in my heart. Let's sit down together, y'all, and come up with a positive plan to put an end to this recidivism. Let's come together and structure some things, man, as real strong-minded men. Y'all want to talk unity? Come on, let's sit down and talk unity. OG Hollywood ready to talk.